Welcome back. All right, so we just found out how to create or how to determine what percent of the circle each pie flavor consisted of. Now we're going to go on to exactly how many degrees of that circle each section takes up. So if you take a look at our very first chocolate example, we know that 8% of the people polled enjoy chocolate as their favorite pie. But now we're saying, okay, well, how many degrees of that circle does it really consume? So we take our 4 out of 50, because 4 people like chocolate, out of a total of 50. So we type that fraction into our calculators, and we multiply by 360 degrees, because we all know that a circle is made up of 360 degrees. So if you take 450 times 360, you should get about 28.8 degrees. So that's how much of that circle. So chocolate should take up about 28.8 degrees of that whole circle. So you can kind of keep going on with that along with cherry, apple, pumpkin, and pecan. Then we can come together to find out exactly how to draw those degrees. So the first thing I want you to do is just calculate each degree measure, and then we'll come together to find out exactly how to draw that. So I'll give you guys just a few minutes to do that, and then we will come together as a class. Alright, so let's see what we all got. So for cherry, you should have gotten about 93.6 degrees. Apple should have about 144 degrees. Pumpkin should contain about 57.6 degrees. And then pecan to get a grand total of 36. So if I add all those degree measures up, the 28.8, the 93.6, and so on and so forth, you should get that all adds up to 360 degrees. If not, that means you must have calculated just a little bit wrong. Alright, so now that we found out exactly how many degrees each section contains, we're going to draw that. You won't need a protractor like the one on the board, but this just goes to show you about what it should look like. On a test or on homework, I'm just looking for a rough estimate, so you don't have to have a protractor and measure out exactly the amount of degrees each circle should contain, or each section. So for this one, I just drew 28.8 degrees. So moving that protractor aside, it should contain only that little sliver of that whole circle. Because if you think about it, even though that looks pretty low, only 4 people out of 50 enjoy that. So it's going to be a smaller chunk compared to that larger circle. So using a protractor just to show you, that 0 lines up right here. And we're only going to 28.8. So it's only going to contain a little bit of that chunk. So if you can kind of guess using your sense of common logic and all that stuff, you can kind of know what it should look like. So everyone knows what a 90-degree angle looks like. You know that half of the 90-degree angle is 45 degrees, and you know that half of a circle is 180 degrees. So kind of using all that together, we're going to create our pie chart. So we have our chocolate, so I'll write down that it's 8% of that circle, or if you just want to label it chocolate, that's okay too. Now we're going to do cherry. So cherry is just a little over 93.6 degrees. So we know that what a 90-degree angle looks like. We know that it has to make a right angle. So it's going to be about that much. So I'll label that either cherry, but I'll just label with how many, or you can label it degrees. That's what I did apparently. That's fine. Or you can say that was 40% of the circle. Either one works for me. Okay. And then we're going to do pumpkin. So pumpkin's about 56.6 degrees. So that's a little bit more than half of a 90-degree angle. So if we think about that, sure, that looks about good to me. So that was pumpkin. So that was 57.6 degrees. Then we have, I missed apple. Apple's 144 degrees. So that is a little bit less than half of a semicircle. So let's say, sure, that looks pretty good to me. So 144 degrees, so it's a little bit less than half of a circle. And then we're left with that 36 degrees. So this is pecan, 36 degrees. Perfect. How does that look? And let me just fix this right here to make it kind of unified. So 28.8 degrees. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what your final result should look like. Hopefully you guys are good with that. And if you have any questions, we will go over that tomorrow. So at this time, you guys should flip over that page and continue on with the day 2 homework, which is still due tomorrow. So there's only about 7 questions. I will tell you guys this right now, hopefully you guys are listening, that for number 2, there's no right answer. So if you just want to cross that one out, or if you want to explain maybe why there's no correct answer, that would be great too. Otherwise, you can continue on with that homework, and then we will come back together as a class tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow.